Hi, we're back again, and our first guest today is an artist and a cryptographer, not a cryptographer, but I'll tell you later. Anyway, his name is Michael Favagrossa. Michael, another Mike. We got lots of Micers here.
Yes.
You're really part of the family when you're a Michael.
Am I? Yeah, look, there's even more mics right in front of us. So
That's true.
the mics are common.
I didn't count those.
Yeah.
Okay, and you just gave me a slight idea of what you're into, and it really sounds fascinating. I want to hear about it.
Yeah, so I'm a Fresno artist, and I'm a ceramicist first, I guess sculptor after. But, the more I work in these mediums, they come to coexist together. So I started out as a potter, learning traditional pottery, just throwing vessels. And, it kind of, after several years of doing that, I got, I didn't necessarily get bored. I just got... Yeah. I wanted to do something that was exciting.
Right.
Pottery is so mechanical. It's every pot is the same way. You start it out, you set it up, and you throw it. It's just all the same. So, being a student at Fresno State, I gained a lot of skills.
Oh, good.
Yeah, through their art program there. Mainly how to cast stuff and really step outside just the ceramic medium itself. And through that, my work started evolving. I started taking pots and incorporating metal wire into them. And kind of taking the traditional idea of making a pot that's perfect and round and even walled all the way through, and actually, disassembling it and then reassembling it after firing for several different reasons.
Wow.
I guess the most practical reason was to be... so I could raku it all together, because the plates are fairly large.
Oh gosh!
Yeah, so that was a pretty fun undertaking. I made 16 of those plates for that one installation.
Oh, gosh!
Yeah, and it was great. It's been displayed around town a couple times. I have a couple of those plates right now at Modern Farm. It's like an interior design boutique downtown, right next to Fulton Street Coffee. So
now, what is a plate at? A plate.
What is the plate?
You mean like a dinner plate or?
No, so it's a wall plate. As
wall
you can
plate.
See right up there, it's.
Of course.
Yeah, it's.
Okay.
So that plate right there is number 20 out of the series.
That
and it's
certainly
probably
is different.
yes, it's probably
wonderful.
about 20 inches in diameter, maybe 19. So you can see each of those pieces, were disassembled, and then I fired them all separately. Then after they were done, kind of, stitched them back together.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
I think it's something like that.
Right. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I really enjoyed making that. And then that was kind of my first step out of the true potter, because so often potters are just they're potters. They're not necessarily artists. They're craftsmen of a sort. But pottery is a mechanical skill. You can be creative through it, but you're very limited. At least I felt like I was. I don't want to speak for everybody, but. So I started getting out, and I have skills like metalworking. I've been fabricating since I was a kid.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I grew up on a farm, which was really cool. Because I was out there in the shop, with my dad, welding on stuff and grinding on stuff as a little kid. So I gained all these other tools, and I'm finally getting able to put them to use. So my next kind of series of sculptures were really inspired through, I guess you would say, my farm life. And I still live on the farm. I'm still
nice.
Rural.
Wow.
In other words,
that's neat. All the animals and everything.
Oh yeah, exactly. So you mentioned the animals, so my next stage of sculpture work is actually directly linked to animals.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that up there, but so I guess a little backstory to this group of work. I was sitting in my studio one night, And out in the country, we have rats, and rats, they chew on bags of clay, and it's just, but you exist with them. We're all habited in the same space. But I set traps like everybody does, and the trap didn't quite take care of the rat. So the rat was there, caught in the trap, still alive.
Oh.
So I had to deal with it myself, right?
Yes.
Well, in that moment, I guess it sounds, so arbitrary, but it was that act of, actually physically taking care of that rat and killing it myself versus the trap killing it. So then I thought, okay, there's something here. There's something more. Living on a farm, I encounter animals going from living to not living. I would say more frequently than people who, live in urban areas.
That's for sure.
So I developed this rule for myself, I guess, is every time I witness an animal going from life to death, then I'll cast it. So I'm working with these dead animals. So it's more or less like a step away from taxidermy. You know? I'm not necessarily preserving the animal itself. I'm just working with the animal and taking casts off of it, and then displaying them in ways that I find
different.
Fascinating. So
that's the newest thing on art that I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, it all started with me just trying to find a new body of work, and like, what do I like working with? Well, animals. I love animals. So it was just a no-brainer to work with those.
Well, then actually they're leaving something good behind them.
Yeah, definitely,
So
definitely.
It's got to be good for their souls.
I think so. Maybe it's good for my soul.
Oh, well, yeah, that's good.
And each piece has its own story.
Do you have any more pictures?
Yeah. So I think the rabid cat is that's a very sad story there. But I was able to make a really, really cool piece. Almost an homage to that cat. So it's
wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I can't get over this. It's so interesting. I usually ask people, how do you get started in this? But you've explained that. Even from a child you were doing this type of thing.
Yeah. It's I think I'm very unique in that way,
Yes.
I didn't even know I was an artist till recently, but it turns out I've been an artist my entire life,
Kidding?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love animals too. I do a lot of I do basically animal paintings, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, very cool.
So if you come down there on January 2nd, you'll see what I do.
Okay.
And where can I see what you do?
So right now, I do not have any current displays. I'm hoping Sorensen's is going to be having their black and white show. I have a piece that I'm working on in the process. So if it's a juried show, so if it makes it in, then you can see me at Art Hop there. Okay. That's I think January 2nd. Coming up.
The same thing, huh?
Is it the same night?
Well, at Sorensen's, I'm supposed to be there, and I'm going to be at that other.
Okay, you're going to be running all over the place.
Well, I won't go to Sorensen's that night.
Yeah.
It's you go there with this hope in your heart that maybe somebody will buy something.
Yeah.
Oh my God, buy something, and it never happens. But I just stay there because it's a wonderful place to be. The people are wonderful, and why not? Why just keep your art in the closet? And
exactly. That I think that's more important than selling stuff, is having the opportunity to expose it to others.
Yeah, that's true.
And being exposed to other artwork by your local peers here, and seeing what other artists are doing, and you get those ideas, and it just keeps keeps evolving from there.
And there's to be actually truthful, there's nothing like having somebody tell you that your work is wonderful and enjoy it. You know, that's our payment.
Yeah, the affirmations
it's not
are
the
definitely
money.
the...
It's you do it because you love to do it, and if you see somebody else that loves your work, it makes you feel good, right?
Of course. Of course it does.
Okay, now the other thing I want to ask of you,
Yes.
please come back, because we are trying to promote people, we want to get people to know you
Yeah.
and know what you do and all that stuff, and see some pictures of your work. And some,
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you could bring your work in.
Yeah, I'd love to bring some of my work. I could bring some of my pottery, my wares in. Those are
Yes.
easily transportable.
Wonderful.
And I'm also involved with a nonprofit here downtown, Fresno Idea Works. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a fantastic maker space, and we have several studios available, and it's a co-op, you know. So you can come down to Fresno Idea Works and check out what we're doing, and you know, maybe if you're interested in pottery, you know, you can come down, check out the space, and maybe learn how to throw some pots, or just you know, see what other artists are working on.
I think that's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Yes.
And I'll see you when you come back again. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All righty.
We'll be right back.